Alright, welcome to another video game analysis of one of my serious games from the US Go Congress 2023. I'm even wearing the t-shirt today, which happens pretty rarely, but there it is. Of course, if you attend the US Go Congress, you get a t-shirt. That's a prize for everyone, no matter how well you do. Today, I'm apparently just going in sequential order. I really wasn't going to do this, but I want to share my Game 2 with you and do a little more in-depth study. If you liked Game 1, this video is for you, I guess. But even if you didn't like viewing my, or maybe you just didn't watch my Game 1, go back and watch the previous video. It was good. Like, that was a really good game. Beast Mode. This game tells a very different story. I think I'm going to call this one Knives Out, because this whole game, I mean, really, I guess the climax of the game happened fairly early on. It was just based on these two fights, and these are tough fights. When I first got the pairings for round 2, I saw I saw the last name Qian, and I saw, forgive me for the Chinese butchering pronunciation. What was it? Zhanying? God, Chinese is hard for English speakers. Qian Fivedan, who I immediately recognized as my opponent, I think my only opponent who beat me last year. But when I got to the table, it wasn't, and she goes by Ying. When I got to the table, it wasn't Ying. It was actually this totally different woman. And so actually they have two very similar Chinese names. And so in my head, I bumbled them up. But when I saw I was playing Ying again, I was actually getting really fired up. I was like, okay, this is the one Fivedan who beat me last year. Like I'm really feeling some Bruce Banner kind of wanting revenge match kind of energy. And I get there and it's this younger woman also from New York, also Chinese, who was playing in her very first Go Congress, and she also goes by Cindy. And I think it's Zhan Yi versus Ying Ji. I think that's, I mean, who knows? How could I have possibly confused those two names? Anyway, Cindy was totally lovely and hard-nosed opponent. Ying is super hard-nosed. Like Ying, I don't think Ying's ever going to watch any of my videos. Like, she only studies like the best Go moves. She doesn't bother watching Nick Sibicky ever. But Ying is super hard-nosed, and Cindy is too. But Cindy's personality is so much more friendly and bubbly, and just super happy to be at her first Go Congress. It was a joy to get to know her, especially through this game, and we talked for a while afterward. So anyway, oh, my mouse stopped working. Mouse? No, there we go. Okay, there we go. In this game, I am black. Before we show you the game, it was also, I want to do a little bit of a detour to talk about Go Congress, one aspect of it at least. The pro Yunkyo Do, yeah, man, I'm butchering the Korean names now. Yunkyo Do, who I should know how to pronounce her name a lot better than I do, was there, one professional from Korea, and I got to know her a little bit. I was totally crushing on her. I'll put some pictures up of, here's a picture of her showing or doing a game review, and here's a selfie. We did also record a a live stream? Yeah, I guess a live stream with the AGA channel about the finals of the Redmond Cup match. And oh my God, what a twist of an ending to that game. So that was a lot of fun to do with her. But I do want to give her a shout out here because she has an awesome Go channel called Go Inside. And if you haven't heard of it and you're looking for like actual good English Go analysis and ideas, go check out Yunko's channel. She's awesome. She's, just funny and witty. And again, I got to know her a little bit better, and she's this really intelligent, well-rounded person. She has a really fascinating story, how she, won a bunch of Go tournaments as a youth player, kind of went into finance for a little while, also worked for Baduk TV as a commentator, but she kept hitting glass ceilings everywhere. Like she actually has a very, she doesn't tell it like it's a very gendered story, but like, oh my God, all of this patriarchy is just constantly thwarting her. Just the Korean culture, even though like she was often paired with male commentators where she was stronger with them, but she wasn't allowed to do any of the analysis. She had to be like the pretty lady standing at the board. Really kind of awful things, at least, from maybe perhaps our American, equality perspective. So she eventually just said, I'm going to go pro. And that way they kind of have to respect me. And she went pro and she made it and found out that there's still a lot of patriarchy in Korea. And so I think she's really enjoyed her time in the U.S. She spent almost a month here. So getting to know her and playing with her a little bit and watching some of her lectures was just amazing. Go check out her channel. I want to give her a big shout out before we get started. So again, I'll try to remember to put a little link in the doobly-doo below. Okay, this game now is against Cindy. I am black. And if you watch the last video, I talked a little bit about Ghost style and how in that game I was kind of forced into this more territorial style and then had to work to destroy my opponent's large frameworks. And that game ended with me going in beast mode and going, I should have called it like full Takamiya, because I essentially make a giant swath of the center somehow. Never go full Takamiya, and fight my way back to the center. In this game, I was from, still have that game fresh in my mind. I was like, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm playing black today. I'm going to build the big framework and I'm going to go on the offensive. I'm going to play the style that I want to play. And oh man, how I ever do that. And so let me turn the AI moves off. We don't need to see all these little extra silly suggestions at the start of the game. All right, so we're playing, pretty normal. Again, I'm taking the large AI corner formation. Cindy immediately invades. Cindy takes, I think my game with her was probably the shortest game of hers the entire Congress. And my game was still pretty long with her. But she runs, like every opponent, I think both her and her opponent will like run the clock deep into Byoyomi. So just really thoughtful, really, really, careful, calculating kind of player. And here we go. I've got this whole nice big outside on the right, and she, takes a nice, again, largish corner territory at the bottom left. And so she's working on 3 medium to large corners, and I have nothing, really. I guess I kind of have the lower right as potential territory, but even then, this is still very open. So I'm playing just all influence, and I couldn't be happier. This is the game I wanted to play, especially after the previous day. I take this sort of natural extension move here. The AI has a little bit of a qualm with it. It thinks it should be high, but it's not a mistake or anything. It's just here's the Katago preference is to play high and just be really consistent, which I buy, which I think is, yeah, I agree. I agree, AI, good job, AI. But again, check out this territorial sort of hard-nosed move. Just digging in, taking large territories, and, she's betting on figuring out how to deal with the influence later. So in this position, I could, of course, stand. I just want to dodge, and so I play here. Again, she plays take the big corner move, and I dodge again. And so I set up a little position on the left, and I get Sente right after she threatens it. Now my position on the left, it can be attacked later, but she really needs one more setup move to do so. So I'm feeling pretty secure. So this is my opportunity to really take something big. And I play this move. Again, the AI actually suggests this move. So at the top where I play the 3rd line, the AI wants the 4th line. Now at this point, I play the 4th line, the AI wants the 3rd line. Silly AI. Either one, they're both good. Like, I just want to, I'm highlighting these 2 differences mainly to just remind myself, but also what else is possible in the game of Go? Like even in the world of AI where we think there's only one best move so often, man, there are these little tiny fluctuations. Oh, now did my mouse battery die? Hey, come on, Mao. Oh, okay. All right. This might be an interesting review if I can't use a mouse. It doesn't have the little red light on. It just keeps dying. You guys know what the problem is. Maybe some neutrinos finally came down from the sun and happened to smack into it. Okay. Anyway, also in science news, if you haven't heard about the ice cube neutrino detector in Antarctica, that's pretty awesome stuff that we're doing in terms of science right now with neutrinos in Antarctica, of all places. Go check that out. Not that I want to keep sending you away from my channel to go to other places between Yunko and, the Ice Cube. But, oh man, there's so much cool stuff going on right now. Okay, so Cindy plays this. This surprised me a little bit. Again, all these other moves, right? It's these sort of, dig into big corner formations. And here's the first time she stepped out of that mentality. And the AI likes it. It's good. The AI likes so many moves here, but this is good. I immediately follow up because, again, I want to build this framework. The AI thinks that's fine. But this next move, there's a bunch of other possibilities that I don't even consider. In my mind, I'm looking at this move versus this move. The AI likes both just fine, but neither one are its favorite. And so if you wanted to quiz yourself, if you want to pretend that you are the AI, you are the robot, where would you play here as black? And again, G5 and G6, like I said, are my main two candidates, and both were, solidly green moves, but not the preference for the AI. I want to know how many of you came up with this one. It's not just, oh man, it's hard for me to play this. And I think the AI's favorite variation leading from this move was to basically give these two up. Madness, right? And in exchange for giving these two up, black does get actually a whole bunch of thickness from here to here. Basically, black will get to make a wall diagonally across the lower quarter of the board and give up, I don't know how many more points in this, but it's so big. Anyway, I'm not quite that level of AI crazy. So we play here. My opponent follows up naturally with this wedge, which is good. And here, I thought about this move a lot because it feels like the natural move is here. I'm not sure if that feels natural to you guys at your level, but, Dawn players in general, we don't like to leave tiger's mouth shapes because they immediately get turned into empty triangles, which is what happened in the game. But the AI says this is the best move. And so why? Why is this better than this? It's, if you look at it, right, white has no forcing moves over here. This is just out and clear into the center, no problems. So why this one? And again, I'm proud of the fact that I chose this one in the game, and it was the AI's preference. Well, it's because this stone, I want to clamp down on it as hard as possible. I am in this large framework mentality. Even though I'm giving my opponent some central influence, this stone has to scramble. And this is going to set up sort of the first of the two knife fights. And to be honest, it's the less severe one, although I guess they're both pretty severe. How is white going to manage this stone now? Because I'm one line closer to really clamping down on it. So anyway, the AI says it's good. I do have a little bit of a cut problem here, but if white cuts immediately, I am so happy. I could play like this or even like this if I felt like there was too much Aji, but probably like this. And you can see black is just, feeling the power flow through me. Happy to give those two up. But Cindy plays this move. AI likes it. And I play another on-point AI move, go me, for this combination, playing 37. And it might seem like this is an obvious point. I assure you, in the middle of a serious game, it is not, right? This is a move that actually runs entirely counter to everything else I've been trying to do, right? You would think, oh, I'm trying to build something in the center, I should play something like this. But no, in order to keep the pressure on, I need these stones to feel uncomfortable. That is how you maximize the power of your thickness. And letting them settle easily is not going to get me that, right? This is still going to be too thin, too open. There's too many exploits, defects that I have to, worry about. And so I need more pressure. So 37 is actually very good. And after 37, you can already see where Cindy's move is going to be, but I had no idea where white should play. If you're ever doing reading, especially if you have a slow game, again, these are 90 minutes per clock side games. So, these can easily go 3 hours before even Byoyomi kicks in. If black has a stone here, where's white's next move? Everything feels real bleh. it's really hard to I need a good expression for this, to milk a hedgehog. That's not quite right. I like the milking metaphor though. It's a little maybe it's a little grotesque, but like white has to milk something that shouldn't be milked here. And if you don't quite understand why, it's like, oh, well, if white is going to go poke over here or look for Aji over here, well, now this corner gets very large very quickly, and black's still happy, right? With one turn here, this whole right-hand side turns into something that looks like, 30 points without thinking, like free 30 points. And that even hasn't addressed the top yet. So white doesn't really want to scramble around here and make black strong. If white just jumps out into the middle somehow without any sort of eye shape or base, well, I'm going to get to play a bunch of more forcing moves against it that are going to help build this top thickness. And if white just plays some very simple, I'm just going to connect my stones move, well, this doesn't make eyes yet. And I'm like, this feels so bad for white. When there's just no shape here, right? I can just continue to harass this. So Cindy did come up with what seems to be the best move, which is here. But look at this, like, what sort of shape is this? These two stones and this stone, like, that's still not like a common go relationship, at least in terms of shape. And the thing about this is, like, this is a hard shape for all players. Like, this slows down the game so much because everyone, like it's unconventional. We don't have Josekis memorized. We don't have patterns. We don't have a feeling for where the natural weak points are, and we have to read everything out when you start making these weird and unconventional shapes like this. And so the game gets tough here. So when I'm talking about, like, this is a knife fight, this is Knives Out, this is the type of reading and the type of shapes we're making to get that. Now, in the game I played here, which looks like it's a very natural point, threatening to basically try to seal white in from the top, or just cut through, and even cut off this stone, or cut through this way as well and cut off the L6 stone. Lots of possibilities here. This also works nicely with the wall at top, or at the right, because again, if I get 39, find time to turn it S12 later, that easily turns into 20 plus points of something there as well. So very natural. The AI has a slight preference for this one, which is even more severe. And I actually kind of agree with, this just feels good. Like, I can't, I know the AI wants to play here, but this is a universe out of balance a little bit. This is like you're reaching into the cookie jar. I don't know if I'm going to get burned yet or not, where this is, just the strength of the Buddha, this, like, the strength of the cow, something just planted on the board, feels very firm, feels nice. And you can already see where Cindy plays next. And again, I didn't know she was going to make this shape. Like, I was like, I wouldn't be happy as white making this shape, because it still has defects. This is, I think, called the small dog face, or sometimes the sake bottle kind of shape, depending on your translations and what languages you're borrowing terminology from. Making a sake bottle kind of shape, this little small dog shape, it's not bad shape. It's not great shape either, because it can be reduced to effectively 0 eyes. Like, it's not actually making eyes yet. It really needs one more move before you start feeling good about it. And it wants to be, like, if I play and move somewhere else, you can see that we can make the mouth shape, which is good shape, assuming that black has a stone here and plays around it. And that's good shape. But the bottle shape by itself, black can prevent that from happening. So all these stones are connected. They're now strong, but you still feel a little precarious about the shape of these. All right, now here, this is where I follow up with 41, and if white were just to do something very simple like this, you can see that this is potentially a problem, right? Like, the stones you just worked so hard to make a shape for immediately get cut off and are under major threat of death. Cool, that'd be amazing. My opponent has no intention of letting that happen, which is what she should do. But that being said, like this is an ideal scenario. Black actually has a better move here, and one of the problems with making this kind of cut or this attachment to seal in is that white has a lot of options for how to cut black off, and if you have a weak or potentially weak black group as well, white's gonna counterattack that. Like forming this connection over the top of this leaves a lot of opportunities to cut, even with something as simple as that. Oh, there's better ways to cut, starting with Hane. It's precarious. And if you watch my last game against James, I make almost the exact same mistake where I talk about fighting in my neighborhood, fighting on my side of the board. I make this fight happen, or I steer this fight into my side of the board, and then I play this almost exact kind of attachment to seal the group in. In that case, the game, I think my attaching move was right around here instead of here, but we're 3 spaces away from where it happened in the last game. So, man, history repeats itself. It's kind of funny. Here, so she launches the counterattack, threatening to cut here and here. This move threatens 2 things at once. I have no fear. The AI doesn't like to make these exchanges, and it actually likes connecting this way better. But for the most part, this actually, works. We'll just say it works. Because I have this sequence, and if white doesn't take this right now, if white does this, this just lives. But if white does bother to come after this stone, well, I have this Ascente, this, and I still live. So I can live on the inside, and white doesn't have a whole lot of eye space yet. Nothing actually has really changed. So this cut actually isn't very threatening yet. Now, Cindy cuts to make sure I can't live over here. I think I had a plan for this. Definitely in the game I had a plan for this. I cannot remember what it is now. Maybe it's the same. Maybe this doesn't work though. This is not alive. Oops, I need this and this. Not alive because of that. So I don't know what my plan was. Here, let's turn the AI on. What was I? Hey, where are my buttons? Hey, enable AI. Okay. Oh, yeah. My goal was not to play there. I just played there and fixed. Okay, so it turns out I did not have a plan. I had a totally different alternative history. Yeah, when white pushes through, that gives me this move, and there we go, back on track. Okay, AI, go away. And so to here, I don't have eye space, but I'm connected enough. This stone obviously is not connected yet, and if I try to connect now, white will actually make a beautiful eye space, kind of in Sente. So I take this opportunity to play 49. I want to rewind one thing. So going back to this move, though, I said the AI has a better idea. And again, it has to do with this counterattack. Because in the game, I'm going to get counterattacked, right? We have this first little knife fight that spills over into a bigger knife fight. And it's because I played this move. The AI suggests this move, which is entirely more reasonable. The reading on it is a little bit harder, because there's just a lot more space and a lot more things for white to do. For instance, is starting with this attachment. But, I don't get into trouble. I don't really have much to worry about, other than just finding enough points on the board. Because again, white has a lot to start the game with. But much safer, much more direction. There's a lot of Go problems in the Richard Bozelich book, Making Good Shape, which is still one of my highest recommendations. The book is over 20 years old. And, I think shape points and finding shapes on the Go board is like the key from going from 10Q to 1 Don. If you can do that quickly and come up with your candidate moves much more quickly so you can focus your reading, man, that makes you so much more efficient in your games. Anyway, in that book, it has a lot of problems that I continuously mess up with the direction of these types of connections, because a lot of times you actually want to cap it and force your opponent to run when you're strong, or when you're weak, you need to just basically lean from one side or the other, wherever the weaker side is. And that was just constantly a I don't know, a thing that I would get wrong, and it's still haunting me to this day. So anyway, in the game, this was better. And you can kind of understand why. You would lean from the side that you're weakest. And in this case, I asked for a lot and did not get it. Because I still got cut, even though I played one more move here. White can still cut. Even though I got 2 moves. I got 2 moves on the outside, and white still has a cut. Ugh, infuriating, right? So after here, I play this very slow 53, and I feel like I need to get this group out. White's group is now stronger than mine. It's not 100% alive yet. I still have some ways to threaten it, but for right now, it basically is. Because the moment I save this stone, it's like white has no problem. Like, it's just beautiful. But again, I get any other moves over here, and K2 can come back to life. Like, P2 is very menacing, right? If white has to play a move out here, I don't play just J1, I play something like L2. And, maybe even actually just play a move like this is better. Although, is it? Actually, that might not be true. That's definitely not true. That is significantly worse. Although, actually, in this case, I guess it goes down to 1 eye. It's probably how it works. Make a 1 eye group instead. Something like that. So, a little bit of danger. But for right now, we're going to start talking about these stones, right? So this knife fight is starting to spill out of the original area. So I play this very slow 53. The robot, of course, prefers something like this. Just look at this beautiful central thickness. Like, that is just starting to feel great. But I do have to manage here. Luckily, this group can be managed. We have a little bit of a way to connect over here. Maybe make this exchange and then just come on top like this. And my opponent could induce another knife fight. Although it looks hard. It looks very hard, actually. And I guess it's hard for everyone. It's hard for everyone. Oh, man. Whoops. Oh, That was weird. Okay. So maybe not quite. I'm not sure about that variation, but the AI suggests that there is ways to connect. While you sort of lean over here and then can lean over here and then connect. So it's not the worst variation in the world. But I just play 53 directly, which is wrong. It gives my opponent a little bit of momentum. So we have a slight minus here, because after 56, white doesn't really care about H7. Even if I kill it, it's not even a guaranteed eye. It can still be falsified depending on what white plays. In the crudest form, you can just see a sequence like that if white is strong enough. White is obviously not strong enough. You can't play that right now, but white will continue to, while I'm trying to kill one stone, white will take more moves on the outside and really pose the question. I come up with 57, which is fine. White jumps with 58. The A doesn't love 59. Like, it's okay. Let's see what the AI suggests here. Yeah, it doesn't love it because it wants to go do other things. The AI's like, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. So where it chastised me for not leaning on the white group before, now it's like, that's not a priority anymore. Great. Okay. And so up until this point, now you can see how this develops into an even bigger fight. Because white has a very weak group here in the center. And to some degree, this group is still not alive. But really, I now have an even larger group that's not alive. I have a kind of a, not quite strong, I would call it, but like, I have a base over here, but it's not even really a live group either. White's going to try to split them and attack, find an opening, but also while not dying in the center. These 4 stones are a little bit weakish. Their nearest neighbors over here, which isn't too bad. But if white gets strong, of course, white can use that advantage. So here goes white looking for a cut. And this is all pretty much good. good go playing. But at this moment, white makes a kind of a critical mistake. And it's so, like, this is so hard. This is like, I don't know. I don't even know how to teach you guys not to make this mistake. and granted, it's not a huge mistake, but for like, we're riding on a knife's edge. So this is just enough of a mistake to, warrant a pretty, or try to explore some reasons why. And part of the problem with 68 is that white doesn't need it. It looks like it's a nice exchange, and white's also going to make 70, which is still kind of a mistake, but a smaller one. Once you're committed, 70 is okay, basically. But let me try to explain it this way first. If black wanted to help this group, well, a very obvious way would be to Atari the stone, in which case white would play here, and then black would play here. But the thing is, in this position, black is actually not safe yet. Like, 1 is useful, but it's not that useful. And perhaps I should say it's actually not as useful as 2, because 2 is attacking 2 things, where 1 isn't even fully saving 1 thing. Like 2 is still keeping some pressure on over here, and it's starting to put some pressure on over here. So when white plays this directly, without black having played this Hane first, that leaves a pretty glaring defect, right? There's a cut there. This doesn't actually solve black's problem. It's like, it's like I didn't have to make a bad exchange, right? Now I know I don't need this Hane. I can play a better shape move over here. And, maybe I just do it like this. Imagine if I played this, white's response to this is here. Like, that feels wrong, right? Like black shape is better. So I don't know. It's like this very hard idea. Like I think the Japanese term that best described it is tewari analysis, but it's not quite tewari analysis. We don't have all the same stones on the board. So it's difficult. But basically, it's like you're playing out an exchange that your opponent didn't have to pay a move for. That's one way to think about it. This cutting stone is way stronger than also I think white realized. Like, I can't capture it directly. Like, anything I do is going to be met with it just getting really strong really fast. And if this gets really strong really fast, something is going to be threatened. Like, you have to keep playing over here. I don't know what the next move is here, but maybe something like this is probably good enough. I'm not sure. Here, let's turn the AI on and try out some things. The AI actually wants black to Atari this way, which is kind of funny. So that maybe justifies white's move, but does not want to keep pushing in this direction. It's not even coming up with what white is supposed to do. AI, you're going slow today. All right. Anyway, so slight mistake. What should white do instead? Well, white has 2 better options. Namely, the best one is probably this Hane, which looks so ballsy. Like, this move, like Cindy and I reviewed the game immediately afterward, and we were both sort of like, I don't know, man. This looks bad. And if you don't understand why it immediately looks bad to some seasoned Go players, you're in black's neighborhood. There's a cut. Like, where's your shape going to come from? How are you going to make eyes? Granted, black is kind of under attack a little bit. Like, this puts maximum pressure on black. I think the best move for black is probably this, just to defend that cut. But even this is playable. Like, there's some, like, black can be okay and play this cut directly. And now we're just in, like, the knifiest of knife fights. Like, cuts, everywhere. Like, these 2 stones are cut off. These 2 stones are going to get cut off. These 2 stones are going to cut off. Like, this is all going to be forced immediately. Black should probably play this empty triangle in this case. I think is the only move that actually works. If you play this one, that's just game over. Like, also, if you've never seen a move like this type of empty triangle, like, feast your eyes on that, folks. Like, this is just like, Oh man, I should totally have a... Yeah, I'll have to get a knife before this video is over and have my little knife here just to really articulate the idea of like how much of a knife fight this thing turns into, or how much of a knife fight is certainly going on in our heads with these types of cutting sequences. But after the game, the other option, the safer one, is here. But I'm not actually sure this is safer, because now if white, like, this just makes the white group very heavy. I think one of the differences when white plays here is white is actually almost looking to give up these two stones if white can establish something over here or capture these two, right? If white can just make an exchange anywhere, even if the attack on this black group fizzles, white is okay, because white has all the cash. So white just needs to play for any exchange. And I think in this, like, it just feels like an axe. Like, white's, like, I don't know, not displaying enough nimbleness. And to me, even though in the game, my own reading, I predicted this move from her, this also feels like a very, like, big battle axe kind of move. Like, we're just going to make a giant weapon. We're going to abandon the idea of the knife fight for some much larger swath of thing. But yeah, they're both good. They're both better than H12. With the A liking this one the best, and just try to find an exchange. In the last video, I talked a little bit about me not wanting to fight in my opponent's neighborhood. And this certainly feels like she's fighting in my neighborhood. Look at all this black around this group. Like, this has to feel like my neighborhood. So I'm happy to entertain a fight like this. But this is where AIs can find and milk every little weakness on the board. And if they pull off a fight, a successful fight in your neighborhood, you're just devastated, because then you have nothing left. So this was a real turning point in the game. Both Cindy and I felt that way, like, after the game. We're like, oh yeah, after you didn't extend here, this felt like everything had shifted. Just the whole mood, timbre of the game became very different, because I make no, I just immediately play 71. Like I just checked to make sure that my cuts generally were still okay, and we're like, this has to be the only move. And it is a good move. So here I extend, and we're not done yet, because we're still in the middle of a knife fight. White plays here, I block, and then makes this cut. And also, I should say, like, when I'm playing here, yeah, I guess I didn't play it that quickly, because I still was looking at this cut and ended up coming at the conclusion that I'd still be okay. But this is hard reading, because this turns into a giant capturing race. And so you got to be able to count a lot of liberties if you want to have some success here. In the game, she plays 80, which is a little suboptimal, but it's okay because I match with 81, which again is suboptimal. Best move for black is actually this clamp. It works. It totally actually ensnares white. Like, you might think, hey, but white can get out like this, and no, it's really terrible. It's like, are you going to connect here? I guess you can take this Atari first and then connect, but then what? Actually, I guess you can't play that. You have to play this one. This one works. So it comes down to this very large capturing race, except black is always okay no matter how many liberties white gets over here, because the moment white fixes this defect, so I guess this is Miai, right? White can either Hane here and basically surround these four, or white can fix the shape. And so, if white just does this, right, I just kill these two, game over. And if white does fixes with this, well, then I'm out and game over. So this is why the clamp is good. Just white, it just destroys the shape. My idea almost does it. It doesn't quite do it as well. It actually leaves a lot more Aji later on. And it also gives white an opportunity to play this, which is real cumbersome. White didn't, but this can prolong the knife fight. She immediately goes after these, which I think is a good choice. Although in retrospect it wasn't quite good enough, but it makes logical sense, right? Like, get what you can get right now, takes these Sente moves, here, 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 and then fixes the defect. And at the moment, my stick is not connected to anything. It might look like it's connected, but remember, this stone is not good. And these are all strong now. So white can play pretty strongly over here, and you can see how my group is just surrounded. Now we're just in a straight-up capturing race. But after this move, I come back and play this. I should play... This one is better. This leaves so much less Aji later on. If we go through the whole game, which I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time going through the end game, you'll see this does make a difference, but I just play here, which guarantees that I can win this capturing race. She nets, but it doesn't change the liberty count. No matter what, these are alive and hers are dead. So, great. At this point, I'm feeling amazing because I just came out of this knife fight. And again, it all stemmed from this little extension mistake, and I got to Hane here, right? This getting N11, this is what the whole game sort of hinged upon. Just being the first person to play the move there made everything else work, just by a knife's edge. But it did. And yeah, everything else just kind of fell into place. Now, the game doesn't feel completely over for white because, you know, white, look at all this thickness white got, and I still just have a base over here. This is not alive. So if white can take this whole quarter of the board, this is almost 80 points. That's a lot. That's a lot. And as big as the center and the right and the top are, it's not 80 points. So I have to make sure I don't die. In the AI record, if I put the AI on, you can see that coming up, we're just going to make so many mistakes because I am just playing like resign moves. Not moves for me to resign, but moves like asking her to resign. And you'll see that coming up. And I'll show you what I mean. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just watch some of these. So I play Hane here, and I play here, and I make a 97, and I play 99. Fine. And then I play 101. This is just like the most abrasive, simple, like, I don't want to die here. I don't care what else happens on the board. I win. That is what I just keep saying. She plays 102. This is a terrible move. You should not play 102 at this point in the game. Like I don't need to add another move here. I can just let this group be co. Like, that's a fine result if it just goes to co, and I can go do something bigger on the board. But again, I play 105. Again, terrible move. I'm just saying, please resign, please resign. You can't kill me, please resign. And she doesn't. And so the next hour of my life is spent just fending off her version of beast mode. Again, if you watch the last video, you got to see my version of beast mode. Well, Cindy's going full beast mode here, and as she should. So she starts with this 108. I like this move a lot. The AI, the AI thinks everything is a mistake. The AI is grumpy as all hell here because both of us are playing very suboptimally. We're both playing I'm playing like very human safety kind of moves, and she's playing extra risky, beast mode moves. And here, I think it was better for me to do this and do it this way. That would have been a better result, but it's fine. I'm just playing safety moves. And so she gets a little something over here. The AI hates all this, by the way. Even though it kind of works for white, she finds this ko, which I shouldn't take right away. I should just go do something like this and just say, all right, fine, try to live in ko. I'm just going to make this, and I'll have this, and I'll have killed the center. That's enough. Like, your giant left and upper right are not enough. So the AI kind of hates all this, but I don't. And so we kind of fight this ko. The AI is all mad about it. And at this point, I kind of get the message that I think the AI was trying to teach me after the game, which is like, I don't need to fight this ko. I can just play here. At that point, actually, the AI doesn't like it. I'm going to move too late, but still. So she finds a really nice little sequence in here. I still have this little defect here and here. And check out how she makes this work. I try to force a defect here, but she plays this way, and I extend. And then with this move, there's actually a little bit of a problem. Like, it's very tricky. I can't extend here. I have to come back and fix. if I extend, check this out. Now I'm going to die over here, so I need to fix this. But now I'm going to die over here. So I need to, like nothing works. This is just a snapback. For those of you who are bad at snapbacks, there's your snapback. I have to come back over here and take this real slowly, which means I have to come back and take this, and she breaks through. And so, yes, I still have killed part of it, but that's a disaster. Like, ooh. This knife fight never stops. And so isn't that amazing? Like, if you go back to this position, you would never think that this move, and I take Ko, and then this move, again, I respond to it incorrectly. Apparently I should just peep directly or make some other exchange. I mean, this move looks like it's threatening to cut here as well as totally ensnare the Aji here, but it doesn't help the Aji from this cut and this cut. Whew. Brutal. Like, brutal. Like, what a knife. Like, she plays this bad move as well, and this Atari looks natural. I shouldn't touch it. I should just say, no, you can come in here, do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I'll be fine. I just need to not, actually, I shouldn't do that one. It wants me to poke first. What? No, okay, good. I was getting a little worried. Oh, it wants me to poke again? All right, let's assume I'm human and don't want to poke again. Oh, yeah, really, yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad. Needs, yeah. Can you believe, like, it looks like I'm so strong, but man, just some little cuts. Knife, just by the knife's edge. So she does a really good job finding all that. This Atari is bad because it gives away this double peep. Just need to come on back. And you know, if you're looking at the score, you can still see black's ahead by 30, right? This is not a close game. Like, we're well into, you know, like, I'm feeling pretty safe, please resign kind of moves. But when your opponent keeps playing moves like this, man, it's terrifying. Because you know you're ahead, and yet these moves are, you know, just finding every little ounce of defect to work with. So after she takes here, like, generally speaking, totally alive, no problem. I'm still up by 25 points or so. You know, we play out a little bit more of the end game. But realistically, you know, there's some fun stuff down here. There's not much of a game left. Nothing really big happens. And eventually she does resign. I don't think we go to counting. Did we go to counting? I can't remember. Oh, right, that's right. I kill this too. Yeah, we fight. That's what happens at the end of this game. I end up forcing a Ko down for the bottom group after I get stronger over here. She doesn't really have time to, like, manage this, so she lets it go to Ko. And this Ko is just the game. Like after this, yeah, it's a giant capturing race between this and this, but I win it. So AI says it's like a 60-point game, but really it's a resignation. You know, there's nothing left to do here. And I think that's where the game ended. I don't think, maybe she did play this. Maybe we did exchange, like, I don't know how many more moves. But it doesn't matter. So after this game, that meant I was 2-0 in the U.S. Open, was having a great start to, you know, the U.S. Go Congress in general. The backdrop is, I mentioned in the last video, I was not sleeping well at night. The first 3 days, while I had it up, I think I'd slept a total of 11 hours over 3 days. And so I was just sleeping terribly. And so, like, I am running on fumes. Like, I wish I had a less cliche metaphor for that. But that's what I thought of. I was going to say coffee, which is also true, but, like, I can only drink coffee for so long before it starts to really work hard against me. Yeah, like, it's starting to pile up a little bit. I'm definitely feeling much more tired every day that goes by. And yeah, I was thankful for the early wins while I got them, because that streak isn't going to continue for much longer. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to review every game from my U.S. Open. I'm actually really, I don't know, I have to think about that a little bit more. It's pretty traditional. Like, I think after I get back from US Go Congress, I usually end up reviewing like 3 or 4 of the games on the channel that I think are interesting. But we'll see. So anyway, if you're enjoying this sort of more in-depth game review commentary, / autopsy, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, I don't know, do all the things. Just let me know. I will return to more shenanigan-style Go content, before y'all know it. So enjoy the slightly more serious stuff while it lasts. If you haven't watched any of Go Inside with Yunko Do, please go do so. If you want to see me and her do a live stream from the Redmond Cup final best of 3 series with 2 of the strongest youth players in North America, go check that out on the AGA channel, which is US Go Web. It's really hard to find things on YouTube when they're not named anything like what they are, but US Go Web is where you can find that. I should mention again that, man, that final game, that game 3, just had one of the biggest twist endings I've ever seen in any, high-level Go game. So, there's my little plug for that. Hope you're all doing well. Happy going.
Get the stones, get the bowls, capture race, 2 space base, tested key, Tanuki, Joseki, makes a key.